Mr. Desmond.
Question 11, sir.
Mr. Speaker, park connectors or PCNs are shared paths meant for all users. The lane markings that the member speaks about are part of a pilot project started by NParks in 2018 to try to guide slower pedestrians away from faster bicycles, personal mobility devices, and so on. This pilot was tried out on 30 kilometers of park connector network out of an entire network of some 330 kilometers, so less than 10% were taken in as part of this pilot. For the lane on the left marked with the pedestrian sign, the intent was for this to be used primarily by pedestrians and other people who are moving more slowly, for example, on wheelchairs or assisted mobility devices. For the lane on the right marked with PCN, the intent was for this to be used primarily by faster traffic, such as bicycles, personal mobility devices, and other mobility devices. During the pilot period, NParks had carried out public outreach along these stretches. For instance, NParks officers go on site to educate PCN users on how to use the PCN safely. NParks has also put up physical banners and standees to promote responsible track etiquette. For hotspot areas, NParks works with LTA to conduct joint enforcement efforts against errant PCN users who exceed speed limits or ride recklessly. In addition, NParks has also been encouraging a keep left etiquette on our PCNs, where slower users should keep left while faster users overtake on the right. In areas where there is sufficient space, and I'm talking about sufficient width of the PCN, NParks will work towards having physically separated paths for the different user groups. To further ensure the safe usage of PCNs, NParks will continue to introduce safety measures such as additional lighting, speed regulating strips, and advisory signs at high usage areas. NParks will also continue to work with LTA and the community to promote the safe and orderly use of our PCNs.
Mr. Desmond.
Thank the Minister for his reply. I've asked this question because I've observed that despite the markings, which I agree is quite helpful, actually on the ground, a lot of people are not really following the marking. And it's caused certain confusion, which I've witnessed personally, and I've also witnessed accidents. You have PMD or bicycles on the path marked with the foot, and then on the PCN marking, you have people walking. So may I ask that the NParks can increase the public messaging on the safe use of these paths? Thank you.
Thank the member for his suggestions. If you think of a PCN, typically they are between 2.5 meters to 4 meters wide. And it's a shared path. People who walk, who brisk walk, who jog, who run, who cycle, who use mobility devices. It's a shared space for people to move from place to place, for people to commute. And so in order for the PCN to be a safe space for everyone, depends on a couple of factors. One would be physical infrastructure. So clear markings make it easier for people to follow certain rules. Or physically segregated pathways. So we are very clear these are for pedestrians and these are for other users. That's one, physical infrastructure. Second would be enforcement of rules. And NParks does enforce against, like LTA, against reckless behavior, against speeding. Thirdly, public outreach and education, as the member rightly pointed out. We need to continue this effort to share with all PCN users about the safe use of PCNs and the coexistence of different users of PCNs. And lastly, of course, and I think probably the most important, would be user consideration, user etiquette, and the behavior and habits of all PCN users. So a combination of all these will make the PCNs a much safer space for everyone.